All right, it's Debbie Potts, continuing the deep dive into metabolism and how you can improve how you age by recreating yourself today. So you are your best self in the future. Your future self is what we should hopefully all be focusing on. So what we've been working on is what is metabolism, mitochondrial health, metabolic health, how to measure and see if what you're doing is working. And so you can go back to the many videos and podcasts I've been doing, including NAD, the role of NAD plus, and how mitochondrial health, really, we want to make sure we're doing everything possible. So looking at being in balance, looking at catabolism versus anabolism, building versus breaking down, speeding up our metabolism as we age. It is done by building muscle, because what happens as we age, we lose muscle. So looking at how we get the sarcopenia, our hormones change, really looking at optimizing all that together with our sleep, stress management, nutrition, strength training, and for sure hitting that goal protein intake to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. As we get older, we're tending to be less active. Our mitochondria change. There are solutions for that. So my goal is to help educate you so you can pay it forward, because I know you're already doing all this probably, but maybe you have family members as myself that don't always know the right things to do, and maybe they're not aware of it. They're not in a podcast space listening to all this stuff. So as we get older, we want to make sure we're increasing our movement, we're increasing our strength training, not decreasing. So we want to stay active with our cardiovascular zone 1 and 2 workouts, strength training, and doing sprint interval training, because we want to maintain fast or increase fast twitch muscle fibers, as well as being able to get movement throughout the day. But we need to be able to get up off a chair, climb stairs, walking up hills, all this stuff we need to be able to do as we get older. And I watch what happens to my mother and her friends. And now that people we've known since I was in elementary school, I see them now at 80, and I just really am fired up, obviously, of all this information out there that we're not applying, and maybe people aren't aware of, or maybe they're not motivated. But it's just motivation, I think, is not an issue for people. It's understanding why. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. Mitochondria, well, we can eat more nutrient dense food. Carnivore is so popular because it's so effective, and proper digestion and breaking down your food and absorption is so important. So it's not just what you eat, as I keep saying, but how you're eating, slowly, mindfully, not rushing, not eating in a sympathetic nervous system state. Get in that rest and digest state, and eating more of what Dr. Boz talks about, the sardine challenge, but having a smashed fish diet, or at least supplementing with omega-3s if you're not going to eat smashed fish, which is sardines, mackerel, anchovy, salmon, and herring, which I don't like any of those but salmon. So really supplementing when you're not going to eat that stuff as myself, as well as the organ meat. I'm not going to be eating organ meat. No, thank you. It's not my thing. Grosses me out, to be honest, but I can do a grass-fed, good quality from organ capsule from Body Health or Paleo Valley. Getting in HIIT training, but some of us women, we need more sprint training, 10, 20, 30 seconds max, all out. At sprint training, spend twice as long down in zone 1 before you go again. Sprint training. Don't do it every day. Try to alternate what you're doing: strength training, HIIT training, mobility, stability, flexibility, and then our heavy weight training. So metabolism slowdown, it is a thing, but it doesn't have to happen. We might need to eat less, and then we're testing with metabolism testing as PNOE, but looking at our insulin markers, focus on getting insulin sensitivity by getting more muscles. Remember the suitcase size. If you have less muscles, you're probably more at risk for insulin resistance or high glucose, because your suitcase size is too small. You can't shove all that stuff you want to take with you on your trip into a little carry-on suitcase. You want that big suitcase that I'm taking on my trip next week for the holidays, that I need lots of space to put some gifts in there. So I need to have more room. That's why we want more muscle health is really important for that glucose disposal site. So glucose are your clothing and all your gifts and everything. You want to shove them in a bigger suitcase where there's room. So regular exercise, resistance training enhances insulin sensitivity, really important part. I think endurance athletes, we tend to think, oh, I don't need strength training because I am doing my cardio training. That isn't the best solution. So we want to look at how we're exercising, what our routine looks like. Maybe December, January, February might be different. Hopefully it's different than springtime versus summer versus fall. So periodization, looking at training by the season as well as eating by the season. So again, to avoid this metabolism slowdown we hear about, chronic stress and sleep are going to impact your metabolism. Disrupt cortisol rhythms, metabolic functions leading to weight gain, slower metabolism. So what do? Do some more mindful walking. You know, if you're stressed out, don't overtrain doing a hard workout. Maybe go for a walk and go in the morning when the sun's just rising, as I did this morning, and I ran a little, walked a little, and I listened to my body. And walking just feels better in my body than running nonstop. My husband doesn't like that. He likes to run nonstop. It's fine in his body, but my body just wants to move. Sometimes walking, sometimes running, sometimes intervals, sometimes some speed work, but listening and being intuitive, I think, is really important and a hard thing to learn as we get older, and really not blame the aging process, but enjoy the journey, changing things up a little bit. And of course, sleep is so essential. I really prioritize my sleep. My life might be a little boring for some people, but I'm the cool kids club that really prioritizes sleep, going to bed at 8 o'clock. I wake up at 4:30, 4:45. I'm at the gym 5:15 and do that weekdays, and then go do some walk, run, hike, bike, something cardiovascular. But oh, it's so much controllable, right? So if we can help our family members, our friends that we love, just realize, all right, am I lifting weights? Am I prioritizing strength training and being consistent? Not think of it as a diet, or I'm going to do this for 30 days and then just go back to my old habits. We're changing behavior. Stacking behavior sometimes helps, but that's where a coach helps come in and figure out what is your ideal schedule? What's your ideal time to do this or that? How can you meal prep or go grocery shopping and think about in advance what you're going to be doing the next day? So all these little tips here, I hope help you or help your family members, strategies that help avoid the natural decline metabolism, supporting muscle retention, promote healthy aging. Right there. That's the motivation. And test and not guess what you should be doing. Get a personalized programs based on science, data, and genetics, not guessing how to do it because someone on social media looks really amazing and you're going to copy everything they do because it worked for them. Well, it doesn't work like that, sadly. So let's do what we can do to be our best self. So we went over all that, and I just wanted to go through summary of, whoops, I backed up. Let me back up. So metabolic chaos is what happens if we don't take care of ourselves at a cellular level. If we have chronic stress, living life as a race, we get this, what we call metabolic chaos. Imbalance in your hormones, metabolic chaos, if it's, cortisol, DHA, we're breaking down our body. All this connection in our body, how we don't really know what's causing what, the chicken or the egg. It's looking at from a stepping out and then zooming in and starting working nutritional therapy. We work north to south. So looking at what are some contributors to your metabolic cause chaos and what might be something where we need to start first. If it's running the functional lab test, why we always want to do 3 to 5 functional labs, look at the whole picture and look at nutritional therapy signs and symptoms and see, all right, where do we need to start? So fat loss tips, again, metabolic flexibility. We want to work on carb and fat metabolism, but primary burning fat as your main fuel source. Supporting our mitochondria, omega-3 fatty acids, CoQ10, vitamin C and E. Time restricted eating, that 12 hours. Stop eating 3 hours before bed, 2 hours even, but don't have a big meal right close to bed and wait 12 hours. Ideally, should be intuitive, natural. You shouldn't be having to time it. You should be eating when you're hungry. And there's reasons if you're full and not hungry in the morning, might be because you didn't digest your evening meal. So we want to look at the whole picture. If you are not hungry and you don't eat till noon, maybe there's some other things going on, or maybe you're just not hungry. So we want to look at what is your eating window and how that's working for you. How do you feel? Performance gains, we want to really work on optimizing metabolism, metabolic health markers, mitochondria. So again, it's not just exercise and nutrition, but sleep and stress, really important to reduce the oxidative stress. So chronic stress, as I say, will impact all efforts. If you are trying to do all the nutrition, exercise, things aren't working well for you, well, let's take a step back and look at how are you feeling every day? How are you starting and ending your day? How do you deal with stressful situations? Do you feel like you're really impatient? You're very anxious, or maybe you're short-tempered and you just get angry a lot? Well, there might be other reasons for that. So maybe we need to work on the vagal nerve stimulation. Maybe we need to work on some breath work, but maybe we need to work on slowing down, pushing pause, and resetting, and even looking at the microbiome. So when stress is constantly elevated, cortisol levels will remain high and have this cascade of effects, including lowering reproductive function, increasing insulin resistance. Even if you're eating low carb, you can still get insulin resistance from chronic stress. Lower your growth and thyroid hormone release. This will impede development, physical recovery, and thyroid function. Immune system is going to be impacted. Our central nervous system interconnected with the immune system. So the cytokines are the small proteins playing a role in cell signaling, and they control the growth and activity of immune blood cells. This enables them to trigger inflammation to respond to pathogens. But if we have an overactivation of sympathetic nervous system because we're in fight or flight all the time, I gotta go, rush, 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 you can result in a constant activation of your immune system, leading to chronic inflammation and autoimmune disorders. So if you are a stressed out person, I know a lot of people are this time of year as they record this in December. I know clients that are working in their business, they have to get year end and have to reach goals, and whatever their job is that they have deadlines end of the year. It's very stressful. And then you have Christmas on top of that, or Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, and it can be nonstop. So working on stress is important for longevity, but also working on metabolic flexibility. Where is your nutrition plan? When do you need carbohydrates? Time them in and around those hard workouts. We want to work on decreasing our fat oxidation, so we have this metabolic crossover point later in our workout. You can go harder, longer, and still be burning fat. That's the goal as an athlete. But day to day, just regular people who are not training for any endurance event, we still want to be getting that fat max improved. So what I look at as nutrition, nutritional therapy, exercise type, duration, intensity, looking at heart rate variability for your stress management, the low frequency to high frequency. We're going to look at your stress, your sleep quality, looking at your aura scores, are great, but don't be married to them. They're not 100% accurate. Your Whoop and your aura, it's just on a finger, light on your fingers. So we have to remember, pay attention to intuition. How do you feel? And don't let your scores in the morning mess up your day. So listen to them and listen to your body. Movement, mobility. As I sit here, I'm trying to move around, and then I'm going to get up and walk down the stairs and come back up. Mobility, movement throughout the day, not just working out in the morning. Digestion. Sometimes I just have to have people sit, take 3 deep breaths in, exhale out, breathe in. Do that 3 or 4 times. Pause. Then start eating 1 bite. Chew your food completely before you start wolfing down another bite. I see people all the time eat really fast. It doesn't help your digestion, breaking your food down, absorption. So we work on gut health, your microbiome, getting the right gut bacteria. Doing a stool test really helps to identify digestive and enzyme need, fat digestion, protein digestion. Also looking at, of course, your microbiome balance and parasite, pathogen, candida, all that we want to look at. hydration, mineral balance, happiness, gratitude, and play are really important. Believe it or not, it's where sometimes people need to start. So if you want to learn more, head to debbiepotts.net and Coach Debbie Potts at iCloud or Low Carb Athlete. I kind of switched to Coach Debbie Potts. But I think that is something we need to work on, how to be your best self. So questions on any of the slides, let me know and we can talk. But I think working on a holistic approach and not just listening to everybody online, figure out what works best for you by testing and not guessing. And let's dive in deeper. So if you're interested in working with me, I do 3 different programs. Keep it simple. An assessment program that I look at everything you're doing now and give you lots of intake forms, give you 2 coaching calls. We follow up maybe every month or 2 to follow up after that of those changes. That's a one-timer thing that you can always redo. And then I have my 6-month package that's called the Health Optimizer Health Investigation Process. Lab testing you order. I give you the order, you do the test, we get the results back, we put that in our investigation. We're collecting clues, looking at being a health optimizer, or maybe you are struggling with weight loss, with feeling healthy. You might have various signs and symptoms of digestion or whatever's going on that you can't figure out by doing all the right things you hear about. That's what we do in the health investigation package. Next level, we have more of a VIP 6 months schedule or longer. Usually everyone goes a year because it's not a 6 months, it's a long journey. But then we're working at more day-to-day, weekly calls, and we're checking on your exercise, nutrition. I'm looking at your journals, looking at your data, you're collecting up all your devices everyone wears now. So 3 options. So if you have interest, let me know. I am at debbiepotts.net. So have a great day and let me know when you want to learn what you want to learn more of. Thanks for listening. Short little Friday episode.